Hi everyone, it's the English Simmer here and welcome back to my channel. So the other day I got a DM from Jessie, aka Plumbella, which challenged me to do her judging iconic townies from the Sims franchise. And of course, we all love to judge a Sims stories and a Sims look. I mean, we wouldn't be Sims players if we weren't. But I agreed to only do this if she actually did my ranking all the expansion packs. So if she doesn't do that video, I need you guys to go to her channel and yell at her in her comment section because I bargained. I was like, I will only do yours if you do mine. So we're starting off with the truly iconic Mrs. Crumplebottom. Technically not Mrs. Crumplebottom. I think she was a different character, but Agnes Crumplebottom from The Sims 3. She has a whole history. She lost her baby, or her baby wasn't born. She's also lost a fair few husbands, which in my personal opinion, she is the true Black Widow in my eyes. My Black Widow challenge is one of the favorite challenges I have ever done in The Sims 4. And so I have to put the iconic, legendary, first ever Black Widow canon to be the Black Widow because she has like all of her husband's graves in her backyard. She is truly wants and fears. That's where she belongs and that's where she's staying. Next up is Angela Pleasant. These guys just recently made a return in The Sims 4 Discover University, but honestly, Angela, she's not my fave Pleasant twin. I much prefer her twin Lilith, but we'll get onto that in a second. But I figured you can't have the drama surrounding Lilith if you don't have Angela Pleasant, and so therefore I don't think she belongs in 20th anniversary. I'm gonna put her in 2D ball pool, but she just gives me like big horse girl energy. And back in The Sims 2, where these two were like really big characters, if I wanted big horse girl energy, I would just go and play as Juliet Cap, who is very similar in my eyes to Angela Pleasant, but has a bit more of an interesting storyline. Honestly, the most interesting thing I find about Angela Pleasant is that loads of players of The Sims 2 made her boyfriend Dustin Broke gay with Lilith's boyfriend at the time, and so that's the most interesting thing about her. Speaking of Lilith Pleasant, Avril Lavigne, eat your heart out. She was the true emo kid of the 2000s. I absolutely love Lilith. She was a badass. I always preferred her over Angela. Not many Sims 4 Sims have a lot about them, but I do appreciate Lilith Pleasant an awful lot. So she is sitting up there next to Agnes in Wants and Fears. In this list, Daniel Pleasant is also included. Honestly, before I watched Jessie's video, I had completely forgotten about Daniel Pleasant. I couldn't even recall his name. And apparently he had a affair with his maid, but honestly that's kind of vanilla for The Sims 2. Not a standout character. I truly forgot that this man existed, and so for me he's unforgettable, he's replaceable, and therefore he belongs on the bottom tier, the very first Sim to go on the 20th anniversary, and trust me, that is a low blow. Miss Bella Goth, arguably the face of the Sims franchise. It seems no matter who you talk to, no matter how many variations of The Sims they have played, they will always remember Bella Goth. Sims 1, that iconic red dress. Sims 2 becomes even more iconic. She has a whole storyline based around her and her abduction. And even in The Sims 4, she still has a little bit to her, and she belongs in Wants and Fears. I'm sorry, I can't do Bella dirty. Like, she is truly the face of the franchise to me. I know Bob and Eliza Pancakes tried to be the face of The Sims 4, but in my eyes, it still goes to Bella and Mortimer. Speaking of the one and only Mortimer Goth, I completely forgot what he had looked like in The Sims 2, but he was old. Like, I feel like Sims 4 Mortimer definitely got a glow up. I don't think he's quite as iconic as Bella. I know that he has plenty of affairs. He's been around the block, but I just don't think he's as iconic as his wife, even if he did have something to do with her abduction, and therefore he's gonna go in open world for me. Moving on to a man who also has, hands down, one of the best backstories in the Sims franchise. I love him. You all know him. It's Don Lothario. I am a little bit salty that Jesse decided to use his Sims 4 image because this isn't the Don Lothario I know and love. I do still like him in The Sims 4. You know, the family description introduces him very well. The relationship side of things definitely lets him down because he actually doesn't have a romantic relationship with anybody in The Sims 4. Even Katrina, who he's meant to be like madly in love with, they don't even have a romantic relationship when you start up the game. So his Sims 4 variant definitely brings him down a peg. I think if it wasn't for Sims 4, I would put him in Wants and Fears because he's a player. His Sims 4 version just like knocks him down a tiny little peg. So I'm gonna put him next to Mortimer in open world. And of course it only makes sense to go to Nina and Dina. Love how we're just focusing on their bodies there. Honestly, what happened between the years of The Sims 2 to The Sims 4 that made these two end up looking that way? And I also don't think they're quite as iconic as Don Lothario. Like, I love the girls, don't get me wrong, and so I'm gonna put them in Cats and Dogs. I like them, I just wish that they had a little bit more about them. I do feel sorry for the Sims 4 Sims in this tier maker because it's what's bringing them down is the fact that the devs didn't really go into like backstories and stuff. And I don't know what the decision for that was. I truly have no idea, but it just falls flat for me. With that little rant about The Sims 4, we're gonna stick with The Sims 4 Sims. So we have Eliza Pancakes straight into 20th anniversary. And that's not because I'm like on the hype. Honestly, it seems like a fad in the Sims community right now to dislike Eliza Pancakes, but it's not a fad. Like, if you talk to Eliza Pancakes just once, she becomes instantly attached to your Sims. Like, you won't ever get any invites from anybody else in the world. It'll just be Eliza Pancakes. And truly, I don't want that. I don't want to hang out with Eliza Pancakes. She's a snob. I personally think Bob deserves much better than her, and I just don't like her. She's an interesting character, don't get me wrong, but she's just a Klingon. She uses Bob for his fame, and that's about it. Next up is Erwin. He was introduced in Strangerville. We first met him in one of the official trailers for Strangerville, and I absolutely fell in love with him as a character. I still think Strangerville is one of the best pieces of promotional content we've had for The Sims ever. However, when it comes to actually like seeing Erwin in the game, I thought he would play more of a role, considering him and the other two, I think it was Jess and the other woman, I can't remember her name, they played really big roles in all of the promotional material, but then when you actually get into Strangerville, they just become background characters. You can't really interact with them too much. I thought they would play more of a role, but you as a player have to like invite them to play more of a role. So I like Erwin. I think he's a likable character. Not gonna lie, he looks exactly like Eliza Pancakes. I would have loved if they had made these two like related, because if you go into Create a Sim and look at both of them, they are so similar. And then we have the Landgrabs. I honestly, hand on heart, cannot remember when the Landgrabs were introduced, but these are one of the only families, kind of like Bella and Mortimer, that aren't really affected for me by The Sims 4. You know, there's still kind of a backstory between them getting rid of Johnny Zest because they didn't believe in his career or anything like that. So they do still have a little bit of backstory in The Sims 4. Yes, the relationships aren't there to back it up, but they do have a bit of a story if you do pay attention to them. And I know Jessie is going to be so mad at me for this one because she said she could not put a Tory in Wants and Fears. But you know what? The bourgeoisie always end up on top, and so I'm going to put the land grabs at number 1 in Wants and Fears. Next up we have this dude from The Sims 3, and once again, before I watched Plumbella's video, I had no idea who this guy was. Yeah, we can all kind of relate to him in a way. He's a nerd who goes by his online alias in real life. He's not memorable for me in the slightest, and therefore he sits next to Eliza Pancakes and whoever this dude is. We have Max Villarreal, who was introduced with Get Together. He is the leader of, I can't even remember what the club is called. Renegades? Is it Renegades? Renegade. I just think of TikTok now. But yeah, I quite like him. I quite like his family. I mean, they do have a little bit of a backstory. His mum unfortunately passed away, or she's not there. His dad's kind of a little bit off his rocker since his mum disappeared. However, I think I'm gonna put him in 2D ball pool just because I would never choose to like play as him or anything like that. He is a nice background character, but apart from that, he doesn't really stand out for me at all. Then we have Pollination Tech. Was an alien, abducted someone, gave 2 babies to that person, and then when they became an adult, they actually moved to Strangetown and got married to a human lady and had 2 more kids. So, for the fact that he abducted someone, I'm gonna actually put him into open world. I loved playing in Strangetown when I was young. I absolutely loved that world. It was one of my favorites in The Sims 2. But yeah, I just like him. I liked his storyline with Officer Grunt. I really like the kind of hatred that ran between these two, because obviously Grunt didn't like aliens and I would always make a little bit of drama there. So to me, he belongs in the tier that matches his skin tone the best, and that's open world. Then we're basically onto the NPCs. We have Vlad Shroud. I personally love Vlad. I know some people can get annoyed by him coming and like biting Sims' necks, but I think I'm going to put him once again in open world because he adds a little bit of spiciness to The Sims 4. He kind of can appear at any time, and he's the only really bit of randomness we have in The Sims 4 if you have vampires installed. I know it can get a little bit annoying if you don't want your sim to like pass out for the next 5 hours, but I enjoy when a game gives me something to work with and like randomizes something on me. We never get alien abductions anymore unless you actually play with aliens, and then I think your chances goes up a little bit. So the fact that Vlad adds a little bit of randomness to The Sims 4 is an A+ in my opinion. Then we have Bone Hilda, who I can't remember what games she was in. I know she's definitely not in The Sims 4. Was it Sims 1 and then Sims 3? I know she was definitely in The Sims 3 because she was in Supernatural. I do like Bone Hilda, don't get me wrong. She is a little maid and she looks great as a little skinny legend in a maid outfit. Truly love her outfit, but for me, she belongs in Cats and Dogs. She's not quite as iconic as Servo, and I think Servo can do other things rather than just clean. Grim Reaper, no doubt about it, plays a massive role in every single Let's Play I think I have ever done. Honestly, without Grim Reaper, then what is even the point of trying to kill Sims off? I've romanced him so many times. Go back and listen to Grim's songs, like in past games. They are terrifying. And speaking of terrifying theme songs, the burglar also goes in to Wants and Fears. He was creepy as hell whenever I forgot to put a burglar alarm in my game as a child. I would cack my pants when I heard the burglar theme song. You get the little mini screen down in the bottom corner that tells you he's about to come onto your lot, and it was terrifying. Then we have Sunny the Sad Clown, who was very first introduced all the way back in The Sims 1. And basically, if you looked at the sad clown painting, Sunny the sad clown would appear and just make everybody miserable. I don't think he's quite as iconic as Grim and the Burglar. I do love him though. He's a great throwback. What is there not to love about a sad clown? And then last and certainly least, we have Emily the monster. So she is a sea monster. She comes with Get Together. I think if you go to the Bluffs in Windenburg, she has like a chance of appearing in the sea, but to me, she just doesn't play a big enough role. I would have loved if she played a role in like Island Living, kind of like how the Kraken used to attack boats in The Sims 3. I would have loved it if like you could spy Emily and like she almost gave your sim like a chance of drowning or something like that. I don't think she belongs in 20th anniversary because she is a little bit memorable, but I'm gonna put her into 2D ball pool. It's come to my attention through editing that Lilith Pleasant should not be on Wants and Fears. To me, she does not correlate with all of these other people up here, and so I'm sorry for catfishing you all, but I'm gonna bump her down to open world. I'm sorry, Lilith, it's just when I look at Bella Goth and Grim Reaper, you just don't belong next to the best of the best. So there we have it. That is my ranking of Sims iconic townies. Hopefully it was a little bit different to Jesse's. I think it was. From what I can remember of Jesse's video, I think some of my ranks were different. Obviously, some of them were the same. And you guys also can't say that I copied her because she physically challenged me to do this. So all the credit, of course, goes to Plumbella. I will leave her link in the description down below. If you don't follow her already, what are you doing? She is one of my very best mates in the community. She's amazing, and you should all go subscribe to her if you aren't already. I'm sure you all are because she's incredible at what she does. So thank you, Jessie, for allowing me to just rant about The Sims. We all know that I love to do that, so I appreciate you supporting my hopes and dreams and wishes. What a great friend you are, but if you don't do mine, you might already have done it by the time that this video goes up. But if you haven't done my challenge yet, I'm coming for you. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. There will also be a link down below to this ranking. If you want to rank these iconic townies, then definitely go ahead and do so. You can tag me, you can tag Jessie over on Twitter and show us your ranking. I would love to see them personally. I don't know about Plumbella, I can't speak for her, mainly because I can't do the accent, so I'm not gonna do that, but I would love to see how you rank these guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you all in my next video. Bye guys!